Hey, good evening. Welcome to Jam Time. This is Pastor Lisa, and we're back with our A to Z faith. And I don't know how many of you remember what letter we're on, but tonight we are on the letter L. And we're going to learn about a lady named Lois. So we find that in 2 Timothy, and that's in the New Testament. It's a letter that the Apostle Paul was a man who went around and telling people about Jesus and starting new what we call churches, but groups of people that got together to learn about Jesus. And he wrote a letter to a man called Timothy. And he says, and it's in 2 Timothy 1:5. I remember the sincere faith you have, the kind of faith that your grandmother Lois and your mother Eunice also had. I'm sure that you have it also. So here's my church. This is Lois, and this is Timothy. And I know it's probably hard for you to see inside the church, but inside the church we have a pastor, and he's holding up bread and a drink for communion, and there's a singer who's playing a guitar and saxophone, and a singer here, and here's people in their pews. And you can see Grandma Lois has her Bible, and so she is teaching Timothy about his faith and teaching him about Jesus and sharing her faith with him so that he grows up to have faith in Jesus like she did. And so Paul was encouraging Timothy by saying, look, you have this great faith and it came from your grandmother. So we encourage one another. What it means to encourage somebody is to give them support, or help them to feel good. And so that's what Paul was writing to Timothy, giving him support to say, hey, this is great that you have this faith. And we need to be thankful for your grandmother and your mother who taught you that faith. So think about people in your life that encourage you, tell you that you did a great job or that you're doing well. Maybe your parents encourage you, maybe teachers at school or coaches. My husband encourages me. So think about people who have encouraged you and who has taught you about Jesus or God and helped you to have a faith. I know my parents taught me about Jesus and God. Sunday school teachers and pastors taught me. And they share their faith with me, not just on a Sunday morning, but they shared their faith with me and how they lived their lives in other times. And I'm thankful for the people who have shared their faith with me. So hopefully you have people sharing their faith with you so that you can grow in your faith in Jesus. So tonight I'm going to share a science experiment, and then we're going to talk about what that has to do with Timothy and Lois. Okay, so I have this jar, and in here's another jar, and this jar, can you see, it has blue water in it. So I'm going to pour some other water around it, and let's see what happens. Think about the blue water as being you, being me. And here we go with yellow water. And what happened? What happened, Rich?
The blue water turned green.
And how did that happen? What do you think? So, yeah, the blue water is like representing our lives, and the colored water, this yellow water that we poured around, it represents the faith in God that people have shared with us. And when people share their faith with us, what happens? Our lives change. We may become green or some other color, but when we believe in God, it helps us to see things differently. So we see now green instead of blue, and it changes us. So when we have God in our lives change, and we see with God's love. And so we're thankful for the Loises who have shared their faith with us. And maybe, hopefully one day we'll share our faith with others too. But so remember this week, as you see colors, yellow and blue make, we see green. and how our lives are changed when we know Jesus and continue to change. And we want to continue to be watered with others sharing their faith with us. So hopefully you have a good week, and let's close with prayer. Dear God, thank you for the people who have shared their faith with me. Help me to see through your eyes of love, and help me to share that love with others. Amen. Thanks. Have a good night.